Yep. So welcome everybody. I know we are meeting after a while, and I think the last deal that we floated was on Dual. I think that was probably around November 2024. And as part of the 2025 plan, we have one of the previously floated deal by Crowdseed, which was 2225 Taylor HC. And this is a repeat offering and going to be our first secured notes on the RealtySlices platform. As we go through the webinar, feel free to write down your questions or raise the hand and ask any questions along the way. Okay. Again, on the 2225 Taylor HC, the word 2225 Taylor refers to the property address that is in Austin, Texas, and the secured note series is a debt offering by the sponsor Crowdseed. Again, as a disclaimer, this offering is only available for all of the regulation the 506C accredited investors. Yeah, right. So, to talk about more about this offering, uh, the project in the context is a 3.6 acre property, which includes a combination of a land and a structure of about 5,000 square feet. This is a commercial property that we got it rezoned from an institutional zoning to a local business zoning, right? This is a very close to the recent upcoming and developments in Taylor, close to Austin. Okay. As we go through down the property, what you see here, this box in the green is the subject property, and the one in front of it is the highway that predominantly connects from Temple all the way to south of and southeast of Austin. Okay. Yeah. Confidentiality and disclaimer side, we there's a lot of notes in here, but at a very high level, we are not an investment advisory firm, and all the details and the offering are a future prospect. Okay, and we recommend you all to go through this, read, understand, and also probably you can consult your attorneys and legal firm, to take any advice on top of this. Okay, we try to present the best of the information we have, and we please feel free to do your due diligence after the presentation and session. Yeah. This document is available on the portal at realtyslices.com. Feel free to download the same and go through it. Right. Executive summary. The project summary itself, as I mentioned, this is located in Taylor, Texas, Austin, about 3.5 acres with 5,000 square feet of built-up area. The site contains electricity and water, except the sewer part of it. This was actually purchased with 100% of private equity that we raised on RealtySlices platform. At the time when we were acquiring this property in 2022 to the time now in 2025, around the last 3 years, the property has already appreciated by about 86%. Okay. This has been one of the uh, key criteria in terms of the way how we acquire the real estate assets that we bring into the platform. We try to bring properties that have the highest potential to grow in corresponding to the growth patterns that we see in the cities, right? Um, when we acquired this property, it was institutional, which means that there is a limited set of commercial activity you could do. However, we went ahead and successfully got the property rezoned from institutional to commercial. Okay. As a sponsor, myself represent the CrowdSeed too. The vacant property has ready to build permits is optimal for an attractive exit. What this means is that we had an exit plan as part of the initial fund. and also as part of the debt offering, this offering is for a period of 2 years. And our fundamental idea is that, okay, we exit with permits on hand, so that way it's an attractive for secondary buyers to come into the market and purchase it, right? On the project itself, while this is a land and we rezoned it, it has increased in value. We plan to do a indoor and outdoor sports entertainment complex with pickleball, tennis courts, and cricket. Okay, we did a good amount of research in terms of what's happening in the neighborhood area and what has a good potential. Okay, um, in terms of giving it on lease, or in terms of generating the revenue on top of the property. So with all of those, we felt that the entertainment and sports complex, with respect to the way how the pickleball has been gaining a lot of momentum in the world of recreation, and on the same lens cricket too. Okay, so with those two in consideration, we are planning to build the sports complex in that area. The property is also close to Taylor Sports Complex, and there are outdoor soccer fields and baseball fields around it. This with those outdoor large sports field around there, this the indoor pickleball and tennis and cricket might offer a supplemental to the existing sports and recreation in the area. Right. With that said, we are planning to raise about $250,000 as a debt round through the secured notes. Okay, and we plan to offer uh, dividends every quarterly, and the yearly interest rate is around 12%. Okay, as we mentioned before, the current property has no debt on it, and with that said, the current raise of 250,000 is the only debt or senior notes on the property. Okay. Um, the money that we plan to raise will be utilized towards doing the engineering studies, as well as obtaining the permits for the project. Okay. The funds will also be used for the working capital and city entitlement and permitting process. Okay. Yeah. More about the sponsor. CrowdSeed is the sponsor of this debt fund. And CrowdSeed has been a firm registered in Seattle, Washington, in the year 2016, and close to about 9 years in operation. And we own about 12 multifamily commercial and recreational assets, out of which we have exited two hospitality side with about 29% ARR. Okay. CrowdSeed is again founded by me, Pawan Narkula, and I've been a tech founder for the Big Links Inc. Um, yeah. One of our greatest accomplishment of all the assets that we own includes the Blue Lake Resort, Washington. This is a waterfront resort in Central Washington that we acquired through another round of private equity. We acquired it, we renovated it. Okay, we have stabilized the asset. Okay, and now this year we are trying to exit the asset. Okay, and pay off the returns to investor, and we anticipate around close to 22-23% of IRR per year. Okay. Um, Myself on the CrowdSeed side, we have supervised a lot of engineering activities. Okay, we have negotiated a good number of deals on the real estate side, and we are pretty strong in terms of analyzing the financials aspect of a particular deal, and coming up with given a set of assets, the kind of asset that can give the best returns for the investors. Okay. Yeah. Um, Coming to the property, as you see on the right side on the map, I will move this aside. This is the city of, for those who are not familiar with the Austin, Texas. Austin is around on the 79, on the west of it, and we have this is the city of Taylor. One of the significant activity that's happening in Taylor is the Samsung semiconductor factory, Okay. This is a $17 billion investment, and the Samsung has increased the investment on this particular facility. Okay. And Samsung is one of the key driving besides many other additional semiconductor firms here. Samsung is the key to the Taylor, and our property is the box in the yellow. This is the subject property. This is where we plan to build the sports recreational facility. Okay. We are very close to Walmart. Maybe it's around 1.4 miles to Walmart. And there's a lot of good communities 2 miles from the nearest DR-10 subdivision. Okay. And we are around 3 miles to the Taylor downtown. A lot of the downtown in the Taylor and a lot of the south of the Taylor, adjacent to Samsung, there has been a tremendous um, uh, activity of construction and an activity of upscale neighborhood that's been getting developed all the way from Hutto to Taylor. Okay. While this area is already appreciated for us, we also do see a good potential in the upcoming future. I have a Google Maps link here to see it, but I'll just show you a sneak peek of where the Taylor and okay. So this is where we have Austin. We have Cedar Park, Round Rock, and Leander. These are some of the uh, places that most of our IT activity happening. Okay. The interesting aspect about a property is that um, people from Austin take either the path of 35 to go all the way to Dallas or Temple. There's another alternate path which is on Highway 95, okay, from Elgin. Below the Elgin is Bastrop. If anybody from Bastrop would like to go all the way to Dallas, the preferred path would be probably be 95. So this is one of the key arterial. And on the other side, Lake Travis is one of the most visited lake in Austin, probably the only lake that is available for most of the residents of Austin. So we have this highway, this highway which is still under development. That's called Chandler Road. Chandler Road is the only road that connects horizontally from east to west, all the way to from Lake Travis, okay, all the way into the Taylor and probably east of it. Okay. Anybody who would like to go to Lake Travis, that's coming from Rockdale or from the east or from the north, probably this is the best arterial. And um, the city has plans to make this arterial as one of the main arterial that can be the future for the west to east bound. And our property is exactly on the intersection of Chandler that goes to Lake Travis to Highway 95 that goes to Dallas. Okay. In the future, we do anticipate that as the city starts to get developed and more residential communities start to come up, this intersection would probably one of the key intersection, and the city has a plan to kind of bring this and merge it with 70 at some point of time. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see if there's any questions that are being raised. Okay, good. I'll continue the presentation. Right. Here are a few visuals of the property. This property was previously leased by a church, and we acquired it from the church, and we went to the rezoning process. There has been a lot of requests that we received to be leased for institutional purposes. And since we are going through rezoning purposes, okay, we have basically declined those requests as we have plans to kind of at some point of time, demolish or kind of extend the structure for our intended needs, okay, for our desired needs for the long term, right? Okay, the structure is still pretty clean inside. Okay, it has full high voltage to air conditioned, secure. Okay, there's enough lighting on the space. Yeah. There's also an apartment of 672 square feet right next to the structure. This apartment typically could be used as a residence for anybody who is operating the business. Okay. On the location highlights, as I shared with you on the map, this is the entire Taylor, and Samsung is around the south of the Highway 79, and um, the some of the activity that is happening here is, as you can see here, the entire part of the red here is all the commercial zoning. Okay, and the part of the yellow is probably the industrial and some part of residential zoning around it. Okay. Overall, there are a few articles that we bought in here to show how the city is growing, and Samsung 17 billion investments, and they probably have acquired around 1200 plus acres in here. Uh, there's also an aspect of Williamson County spending 100 plus $1 million to improve the infrastructure facilities across the Taylor, that includes north, southbound, and east-west bound. Okay. Besides Samsung, there are a lot more companies who have moved into Taylor and Austin. A lot of companies have promised their investments and continue to increase. That includes Micron, Applied Materials, and there's also a part of 1 trillion spending with respect to the CHIPS Act. Okay, um, right. I want to recap here until now what all we described. We walked you through uh, the property in terms of its location, in terms of the activity around the property, and also with respect to the potential and what we plan to do with it. Predominantly build the recreation facility in there. Okay. Having said all of that, okay, the idea here is to raise a private debt of 250,000. And as you see here, from 2022 to 2026, right, we had an original vision of rezoning it to tenant improvement lease, and then analyze the property for what is the best fit. Okay, that was our initial plan. Okay, however, we went ahead and given that we were successfully able to rezone in a timely fashion, we also started the part of doing the design and permits ready for the project, and this is where we are seeking the additional capital in terms of for us to do this additional activity than what is originally planned in the vision with a private equity round. Okay. With the proposed vision, we have successfully rezoned. We have done the analysis. We are doing the design. Okay. And right now, we are meeting with the city and getting the reviews in place. Okay. Uh, on the financial side, our project was, when we purchased, its value on the books on the city was around 737K. And today, with around, I think with 2025 appraisal, we are probably around 2.3 million. That's a substantial increase in the asset value from the time we acquired to the present date. The asset value is both tangible with respect to price, and also there's an aspect of intangible part, which is the project is now rezoned to local business, which means that you could probably do much more with it, okay, than just being institutional. On the proposed sports complex, we want to share some insights into why we chose to go with a sports complex facility. Okay. We As we studied the market, we realized that there's a lot of new residential planned projects around Taylor, which would mean that there's a lot of people moving into the city. Okay, and that's not typically a retirement kind of crowd, but probably more of a the white collar mix and blue collar mix. And with that into picture, pickleball has been growing significantly, and as you see here, uh, what started with a casual game has now there have been tournaments being conducted. There are a lot of clubs around it. Okay, there's a whole ecosystem that's been built around pickleball. And in the year 2022, okay, there was a growth of about 85% growth. In 2024, there was about 4.8 million. Now there are close to 10 million. In fact, we are now at 2025, and I'm sure probably, it's around 15 to 20 million, right now. Okay. So because of the growth and also because of the way how the game attracts a lot of, youth, and also attracts a lot of, university, school, college kind of stuff, more of a physical activity, okay, and socializing. This is where we chose the pickleball as one of the integral parts of the sports fest. Besides that, we also have paddle sport. We have net cricket. Net cricket is also gaining popularity, and we thought having a diversity on the space would help us. Right. Here is a map with respect to the pickleball courts. Okay. As you see here, the core of Austin has a decent number of pickleball courts. However, the residential density in this area is pretty large. Okay. And if you look at Taylor, there's one Taylor pickleball courts. These are probably four courts that's in a state park. Okay, which are outdoor, right? And this is where our facility is. And with our facility coming in, there's a huge residential between this Highway 130 and Highway 95. And we probably would be one of the closest and nearest pickleball and recreation facility for all of this block, Okay, especially with Hutto and Taylor and the development happening on the north and south. Okay, we have a pretty okay unique place to attract people into the facility. On the tennis court side, uh, there isn't a tennis court closer to Taylor. Okay, and the closest one is around the Chandler Park. Okay, and again, this would also be playing a unique one with respect to the market fit. Um, I heard there are some around Hato, but we could not find it. Maybe they're upcoming. Um, Despite that, I think we have a good unique placement in here. On the cricket courts, our nearest cricket courts is the Momentum Sports. They have a few, I think, two cricket pitches. Okay, and we are going to have more of a net practice, more of an outdoor stuff. However, these are the two nearest one, and the remaining ones are pretty much on the farther side of the Cedar Park. Okay. Here is our proposed plan. Um, this is the we have engaged WGL engineering firm, and they have come up with a design. This is one of the design that we selected after multiple iterations with them. And as you see here, this is going to be a flex structure. And as a part of the flex structure, um, we build the structure and then it can be reused or multi-purposed if needed. However, to start with, this is going to have a mezzanine floor, and the ground floor would have pickleball courts and tennis courts indoor. There will be mezzanine floor that will contain a coffee shop and also a space that can be used for recreation or some of the parties that can happen for a group of people who come to enjoy the facility. On the outside of this, this is a the one with the gray area is the indoor facility, and then the exterior side of it, we could have two potential uh, uh, cricket courts, which are net practice courts. Okay, and we could have one tennis court that is exterior, and we again have about four pickleball courts. Okay, yeah. So overall, it can probably handle about a crowd of maybe 200 to 250 people can comfortably handle. There's enough parking space all around the building. Okay. On the front side of the landscape, we will be leaving this area for landscape purposes, and this will also act as a septic field. As of today, there is no sewer line to this property. Maybe once we have sewer line, we could also reuse this space in the front, connect to sewer, and probably also build additional courts in here. Okay. Yeah. Um, any questions before I move on further? Yeah. Okay. On the side of civil,
Pawan, there is one question that has come
uh,
in.
sure.
Uh, Explain what do you mean by secured note? What is it secured by, and what does that mean?
Right, right. Yeah. So when I say secured note, it means that the loan that is being raised or the fund that's been raised, okay, is secured with an asset. Okay, in this case, the subject property that I have been showing you, okay, this piece of land parcel that's valued at around 2.3 million, the note is secured with this in the sense that if we happen to default in paying off the investors for the note, the investors can go behind the asset, okay, and then they can recoup their um, um, initial capital they invested, and also they can recoup the promised returns in the event that the sponsor crowd said goes default on paying of the investors. Okay, yeah,
Got it.
yeah.
The second question is, will you have enough liquid funds to pay the interest quarterly?
Right, right. No, good question. So, the way how we have been raising this fund, okay, is that we have already factored in the interest payments, okay, that need to be paid to the investors as part of the capital that we are raising. Okay, yeah. So those interest payments are already factored in with the current equity round and also with the debt round that we're raising.
Okay, got it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all I have so far. And when something else comes in, I'll chime in.
sure. Yeah, thank you. On the uh, on the engineering side, a lot of our success lies in how best we design the product, and we have bought in one of the best design firm in Austin, that's called WGI. Okay, and they have worked on multiple projects in Austin, and they have also worked in Taylor. Okay, here are some of the Austin Business Journal awards and some of the prestigious projects they have worked upon, Okay. They are right now engaged to design the recreation facility. And our pace is pretty fast, and we have made significant progress up to now in terms of getting to the point of the city saying yes, they do not have any objections to what we plan to do on the project. Okay. On the Taylor growth, while there were a few links that I shared, these are some of the additional pointers to it. The city is growing a lot, and Samsung has increased their investment, okay, to 192 billion. Samsung already started to employ people in the area, okay. Hatto also, with respect to applied materials, has started to grow. Hatto and Taylor, the the space between both the cities, okay, has been growing very fast. And if any of you out there happen to visit Austin, I think you should drive by, to see the I would call it a mega development happening in that area. Okay. um, a lot of communities are in the permitting stage, which are about 1,000 plus homes, okay. That is significant, for that area and for the project that we have. Yeah, all these links are available on the deck. It's available on the Realty Slices. You can primarily download the deck and go through these links and get a good hang and feel of it. Right. On the debt investment itself, as I mentioned before, we are raising 250,000, and there's a minimum investment of 50,000, and you can go anywhere above 50. It could be 55, 50, 60K, but it's minimum is a 50,000. And I'm going to walk you through the entire process. We have built a portal at Realty Slices for investors to actually come in, and I'm going to show you here. Um, Yeah, you can visit the realtyslices.com, and over here you can create your own account if you do not have it. And once you create an account and you log in, it's very simple process. Scroll down, and this is the deal. Click on the view details, and you can get to see all the information about the secured notes, okay. What are the highlights of the property? How many years is the note duration? Yearly, note rate returns. Okay, how frequently do we pay it? Okay, where is the property? Information about the sponsor. And this is where you have the part of the operating agreement risks, the secured note certificate of formation. You can go through all the risks. Yeah, we went through a good number of them here that are very common. And yeah, we also have put together FAQs. Okay. These are the FAQs that over a period of time we received from our investors, and we have kept all of them for you to access and go through the same, right? It's very simple, as I'm showing on the presentation deck. Um, yeah. Um, so there are primarily, four steps to it. First one is everybody who would like to be a part of this investment has to be accredited investor. And you can go through a verifyinvestor.com, or you can go to third party portals. We can help you in getting in finding ways to get accreditation letters. Okay, you can get from CPA, from attorney firms, or from verifyinvestor.com. Okay. um, uh, Having it in the accredited investor letter is first part of it. Second part of it is in the portal. As you go through, there are a set of documents that you can review. You can also access the documents here. This is a secured note document. You can go through the document, understand the part, and sign the investment document with respect to promised capital. Okay, that's the step number two. Step number three is where we review the documents, we review the accreditation letter, and we approve your investments, upon which you can go to step number three to transfer the funds. We have a deadline of around 27 June. I think we extended this date. We initially planned to close the fund by June. However, we are started little late on it, and we are open until 27th of July. We moved this by a month. Okay, so we can transfer the funds, and finally, um, we will sign the documents once we receive the funds, and we report it to the SEC, we file with the SEC. Okay, and that's where your contract is in place, and these are the 5 steps. And all those steps are when you click on invest now. Okay, um, we have a very user-friendly, intuitive way for the investment process. Okay, and we can just go through the wizard, and it's any questions you have around the investment or around the property, feel free to ping us. We also have a support interface wherein you can come back and ask any questions. Okay.
There is one question,
Yeah.
Pawan, here. Hmm. What do you mean by seniority on the debt? It's a senior debt. What do you mean
Right.
by?
Yeah. So when we say a senior debt, what it means is typically on any commercial deal, you could have multiple lenders to it. Okay. And when we say senior lender, they are the first party that would receive the payouts.
I see.
Uh,
So in a liquidity event, they'll
Correct.
first get the funds before the equity investors get.
That is correct. That
I
is
see. I
correct.
see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's one more question saying, I'm new to secured note or note kind of debt investing. Do you have any blogs on the topic?
Yeah, we have a blog that we have authored, and there's a lot of information on the net. We have live in the era of Chat GPT, but we have a blog that we wrote. If you go here and say resources and FAQ, over here we have written about the different ways of investment. Okay, and we also should have a blog probably on the homepage.
It's I think in the blog section. Yeah, or popular blogs you can go.
Yeah, okay, so we have raised funds, evaluate metrics. Let me see, there's one more.
Can you go to
Uh,
the top left and go
yeah,
to blogs?
yeah, okay, there it is. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, we have all of the blogs here, and we have one really good blog on,
At the end, I think there is
yeah, raising the debt funds. Okay. Uh,
real
yeah,
estate
here is the blog.
certificates.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a good starting point in terms of understanding how the promissory notes work. What does it mean to be a senior note? What does it mean to be a secure note? And the secure debt, okay, and the interest rates, maturity dates, even the loan to value, Okay, so as we mentioned before, we didn't had any debt on it. Okay, and this particular one, okay, would be the senior one, and we are running on a very low LTV on it. Okay, so yeah, we can go through here to understand more about the debt stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yep. As I mentioned on the timeline and the steps, the 4 simple steps: explore the deal, understand it, okay, do the due diligence, get accreditation from verify investor or any other sources, sign the documents, transfer the funds, and then you're part of the deal and the investments. Okay. With that said, I'm going to open up the room for question and answers, and I can address any of them. Yeah.
Yeah, there is one question here that says
Uh-huh.
you talked about LTV, loan to value, but then there is something about assessed value.
Right.
So how should I understand that is the question.
Yeah. So the assessed value is the assessment. It's generally offered by either the city and the county yearly assess all the properties, and okay, they give what is called as a valuation to it. So that's the assessed value. The assessed value from the city today stands at around 2.3 million. Okay.
Okay.
Now the debt on it, okay, which is we have a equity fund that's floated out there, and we also have the 250 debt round. Okay. Combining those two, okay, I think we stand at an LTV of, I think we summarized in the highlights. Okay. We're at close to around, with only the debt part in there, we're close to around 11% on the loan to value. Okay. Which means that the 250,000 is 11% of the property assessed value. Okay. And it's about 18% of, LTPP. Okay. Uh, loan
Purchase
to,
price.
yeah, loan to purchase price.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah,
As
just to put it in context, typically when you're buying a home, you're putting only
right,
20% or 25% down, which means that loan to value is 75% of it is loan. So it will
right,
be 75%. Here, if it says 11%, that means very small portion of the value of the property is in loan.
correct. Yeah.
No other questions as of now. Um, I think we're good to close.
Sounds good. Again, feel free to ping any of us. Okay. We are available, 5 days a week. Give us a call if you have anything to clarify. But first and foremost, please go ahead and sign up on the reality slices. Okay, so that way, not only this deal, but anything that we float around, you get the first-hand information of anything, new deals that are coming into the marketplace, and it can also be a part of the some of the knowledge sessions we do. Okay, we are local to Seattle. Okay, and you all can, stop by, swing by anytime. Okay. Um,
Thank you.
yeah. Thank you all. Take care. Bye bye.